All right, we are ready to move on to the next one. The next one we are going to work on is number 5. This will make a hexagonal or hexagonal pyramid. So we're going to start actually by making the hexagon, and don't forget, we need to get these two lengths on our paper first. So on your project sheet itself or on a blank sheet of paper, we are now going to make a, let's see, what were those measurements? We need a 1.5 inch line and a 4-inch line segment. So with your ruler, let's make a 1.5 inch segment and a 4-inch segment, and we will be using those as we do this number 5. So if we're going to make the hexagon first, the side of the hexagon is 1.5 inches. My suggestion here is for you to have your paper in the portrait fashion. A lot of times we do landscape, but it's really going to work better if you have your paper vertically on your desk, standing straight up tall in the portrait direction, and we're going to start by making the hexagon. So we don't need to start with a segment this time. Let's take our compass and we are going to open it up to the 1.5 inch mark, because the 1.5 inch mark is going to be the side of the hexagon, and that's what we're making first. So take your compass, open it up to the 1.5 inch length. And then over toward the left-hand corner of your paper, this is where we are going to make our circle for the hexagon. So on the left-hand corner of your paper, go ahead and make your full circle. And then if you guys will remember, to make the hexagon, we are going to choose a starting point and mark with that same length, that 1.5 inches, 6 times around the circle to create our hexagon. I would suggest making your starting point over here on kind of the upper right-hand corner of your circle, right here. That's where I'm going to take and do my starting point. And then from that starting point, I will take my compass and we will mark off our 1.5 inch segment lengths around our circle. So there's one, and then wherever your pencil is, that's where you're going to put your point. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then once we get to the 6th one, you should end up exactly where you started, that starting point. Now when you make your hexagon, you want to connect the points where your compass intersected the circle. Don't connect the end of your little arcs, because that'll make your hexagon look really irregular. So if you connect all the points of intersection, then you have your hexagon. Now, on the side of that hexagon, we are going to be building these triangles, kind of like we did in the last one when we were making that pyramid. We did 4 triangles, and this time we're going to do 6 triangles. But the easiest way to do that, because these are not equilateral triangles that we're used to, we're actually going to create a half circle, and then we're going to mark off some 1.5 inch marks to create the bases of those triangles. So these are 4 inches. Take your compass now and open it up to the 4-inch mark. Okay, now once you've done that, I want you to take your compass, and we need to mark where the center of our circle is going to be. So come over here on the right side of your hexagon. Notice I'm putting my compass on the intersection on one of the points of the hexagon, and I'm just going to make a little arc, okay, about 1/4 of a turn. Then I'm going to go over here to this consecutive point on the hexagon, and make an arc from there as well, because wherever those two arcs intersect is going to be the center of our circle. And this might be something that you don't catch the first time and then you might have to watch again to do, but I measured 4 from 2 points, 2 consecutive points on the hexagon, and that's going to tell me where the center of my half circle is going to be. So if you put your compass right there on the intersection of your two arcs, then you can draw a half circle that, notice, intersects right there with the side of our hexagon, which is exactly what we want. After you've drawn that half circle, all of the bases of the triangles have to match up with the sides of the hexagon, so we want our compass to be opened back up to the 1.5 inches. So take your compass up and open it to the 1.5 inches again where we started. And I'm now going to take that length, match it up with the first side of your hexagon. Okay, so this is where we started our hexagon. And now from the side of the hexagon, I'm going to mark off 1.5 inch marks. And technically I only need to do it 5 times because the side of the hexagon will be my 6th side for that 6th triangle. So I've made 1, 2, 3, this will be 4, and 5. Now you've done the hard part. All you have to do is take your ruler and from each intersection on the circle, if you would just connect that to the center point that we made for our circle, and if you connect each arc on the circle to the next, like this, then that'll make the base of our triangle. Because if we don't make the bases of our triangle, then all we're really doing is making some little curved pieces. And we've got to make sure that we connect the intersections consecutively on the circle to make the bases of all of those triangles. So we are connecting all of the arcs to the center, and then we're also connecting all of the arcs to each other. And then by the time we're done, we will have 1 hexagon and 6 total congruent isosceles triangles that form our hexagonal pyramid.